Oh, and here we are, back at it, back in it, back for another one, back for another day, back for another stream, another live stream. Because it's your dream to be with Jordane on these live streams. You guys always happy to have fun. So Happy New Year, first of all, as we get started. Happy New Year, Happy New Year. Good riddance 2020. Yeah, 2020 is finally over. That turned out to be a much longer year than I think everyone was expecting, even though it still went by about as average as the normal years that be passing by. But Happy New Year, guys. Happy New Year, Linda. Glad to see you in the chats, Linda. How's it going? We are just hanging out, getting ready to try to get everything figured out for the New Year's, because the New Year's, it's hard to figure things out whenever you don't know exactly how the year's going to go. What's up, Philo? How are you, buddy? Philip Stamper, the president of wrestling. Yes, soon, man, soon. We got to chat for that, because it's going to, I know, Bernie, I got to have Bernie and Phil on. Bernie's going to make his way over here sometime, but Philip, we have to do like a, what is it? Where do you live? Like in Virginia or something? So we have to do like a, it's not Skype. What is it called now? Like the big one. It's like it used to be. Skype used to be like the big like conferencing thing, but now it's something different. Oh, it's Zoom. Zoom. Yeah. We'll do Zoom. Maybe we can do a couple live Zooms together, Philip. That'll be fun. But I talk. I don't play I don't play video games and stuff. I just get on here and I just like to talk. I just like to blab to whoever's going to listen. Whoever feels like listening, But happy 2021 now. That at least we're MS Teams. Yeah, Philip, you got it right, buddy. That yeah. Southern Mary's not too far either. But Zoom and Skype. Either way, we can get either one of those. I just don't have as much experience messing with the software, so I just have to practice them a little bit before I can say I know how to do it. So I just got to practice that a little bit. Phil is down near MCW's second home, Southern Maryland. Yeah, exactly. I'll take an ear off if not careful. Yeah, right. You definitely got to be careful. That's the crazy thing. Bernie said, "Gimmick and Frengens, Ramblin' Rich." He rambles. That's very true. He's literally called Ramblin' Rich. So go figure, right? Ramblin' Ron, Ramblin' Rich. Must be some type of similarities there, I think. And Marie over there on YouTube said they have one called House Party that it's like Zoom. Yeah, that makes sense, because you have the Zoom parties. People do like a whole bunch of the get-togethers via Zoom, and I'm guessing that House Party's probably the same type of thing that you got to deal with that type of stuff. So I was thinking earlier, I was wondering. That's why I titled this. We're getting started on the right. We want to get started on the right track. How do you start the year off right? Philip Stamper said, "Prolific Phil doesn't roll off the tongue." Not as much, but it still works. Bernie said, "Must be the hair. Rich had a nice head of lettuce like that." Head of lettuce. Right, exactly. He had to have a good head of lettuce. You have to have a good head of lettuce to be one of the ramblers. If you're rambling around, you gotta be rambling with the rambling Rons or the rambling Riches, or you ain't rambling like you should be. Yeah, but I was thinking a couple of days ago, and I know that everybody's about rituals, and the whole New Year's Eve thing is a ritual, leading into New Year's, where people celebrate. You celebrate the fact that the Earth has made a full journey around the sun, and that's always a fun thing, and that's what we base all of our basically all of our civilization off of, is those year cycles, and we age ourselves that way, and we try to have each year be a new beginning. And that's the thing. Like, each year you want it to be a new beginning. Saturnalia, Christmas, Hanukkah, all these different things are all different celebrations right towards the end of that year, whenever things are coldest and darkest. And then beyond that point, it's going to start warming up, which we still have probably like another month and a half of winter left. But it's about getting started on that right track, starting with the right momentum. Because if you start with the right momentum, you're more than likely going to keep doing your habits. You're going to keep continuing doing what you've been working on this whole time. And I saw a meme, and actually I want to see if I can find the meme. I don't know if I saved it or not, but it was such a good meme that I had to save it. Let's see if I can find it. Let me see. Okay, here it is. Okay. It says, all my plans for the future involve me waking up tomorrow with a sudden sense of discipline and adherence to routine that I have never displayed even once in my life. Which I think that's that's meme. Here, I'm gonna show you guys and see if you guys can if you guys are able to read it. There's not really anything visual to the meme that much anyway, and camera's too far away, so I'd have to switch to this camera, and I don't really feel like switching right now. But anyway, I'll read it one more time, and then we'll go on with our thoughts on this. All of my future plans involve me waking up tomorrow with a sudden sense of discipline and adherence to routine that I have never displayed, not even once in my life. I think that's where most people go wrong with their New Year's resolutions, where they're like, okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. But if you take a step back and you have your New Year's resolutions, I think that I never really got into the whole, the new year, here's the New Year's, new year, new me, new year, new me, that type of stuff. I never really got into that because I'm always constantly trying to add different goals, trying to add new goals that we're working on, and accomplishing goals, not accomplishing goals, realizing what you did wrong so that you can accomplish some goals in the future, and see where you can change them all in the future and into that area. We'll jump back to the chats real quick before I keep going on with that thought, because there's a lot to be there. And Bernie said, Craig, what's up, Craig? How are you, buddy? It's good to see you in here again, joining us again in our old live stream chats. Bernie said, definitely takes away from the king cat and glowing man cat time to show the meme. It does take away. But the meme's not really, it's not really about like the visual. It's more so about the words. It's mainly about the words anyway. Craig said 2021 is going to be the best year for me, and that's what I like to hear. We want to, even if you don't think it's going to be a positive year, even if you think that it's not going to be that great of a year, you have to give it a shot. You have to start with at least a PMA, that old positive mental attitude, which will change a lot. So I've read a lot about things with your mental attitude towards things and the way that you perceive things. And a lot of times, a lot of people kind of are very hard on themselves, and they down themselves a lot, and they they don't necessarily try to bring themselves down, but when they're trying to motivate themselves, they motivate themselves the wrong way or incorrectly, or it's not as it's just not as effective as it could be. So when you're motivating yourself, a lot of times I'm trying to motivate myself by giving myself some type of a talk. That can go two ways with me, the way that my mind normally works. And now I'm working on this. This is one of the habits that I'm working on, because I can be very hard on myself, and I can be like, hey man, you gotta get up early, you gotta do this, you gotta do that, you gotta adhere to this routine, this very strict routine that you require of yourself, but you haven't been doing that strict routine in a while. I've done the strict routines, and I've done like a bunch of great routines for myself that have helped me a lot in the long run. But one thing that I realized is if I make the routines, or if I make the goals too hefty, too high, too hard, I'm less likely able to reach them. I'm less likely able to create the new habits in order for me to reach those goals. Because a lot of the goals that I have, it takes a lot for you to keep your positive mental attitude. It takes a lot for you, because life is going to be coming at your ass. Life is always coming at your ass. And that's the hard part about it, because you always have to deal with a lot of bullshit because of life. And when I say life, I mean anything. Relationships, work, hobbies, just in general, your own health, all of that stuff is always so complicated and always so hard. It's hard to stay on top and maintain. So I think that a lot of mistakes that people have in the long run is not thinking of the long run. If you were thinking of the long run, you would have a lot better opportunities to reach your goals or reach your whatever you're wanting to do, whatever you want to do with your life. If you dedicate the time to being able to figure out how you can do it, that makes it a little bit easier. But you can't, you have to make it reachable, and you have to make it effective for every single day. So every single day, if you're in the game and you have to be on top of your shit every single day, that's the tough part, because that takes a lot of energy. That takes a lot of discipline. That takes a lot of, okay, well, I don't normally go to bed until 12 or 1 or 2 or 3 p.m. or 3 a.m., but I need to make myself go to sleep because I need to get up early. If I need to get up early, that circumvents anything else that I need to do, because if I get up early, I'm going to be able to do everything that I need to do. Here's like a personal thing for me. My natural, I'm interesting though. Like I'm different, because I know that some people say that they're a natural morning person or they're a natural evening person. I'm natural both. I love being up in the mornings. I love being able to get up early and get my routines accomplished, and like get my routines down and stay on top of them. When I'm doing that, that's when I'm the most mentally happy, when I'm the most mentally healthy, I think. Whenever I'm on my routines and I'm sticking to those routines and I'm not slogging around, bullshitting, playing on YouTube for, I don't know, hours at a time and all those types of things. So I think that we need to, whenever it comes to coming up with your goals, and it comes to sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. I get excited and I want to talk too much, and then I start blabbing. We'll go back to the chats real quick, and then I'll continue on with our talk right here, just because this is I think that we all need this. We need to start this year off right, and we need to stop ourselves from either creating goals that are too hefty at the time, or creating a hefty goal, which is always good. I'm not saying like we shouldn't create hefty goals. We shouldn't create things that we want to work towards, but we need to make it realistic. So if you have a big goal, we need to have like 3 or 4 smaller goals that are strategically leading to this big goal. So an example, I could take, so like say like with wrestling, like you want to be a really good wrestler. You want to get on, you want to do some tryouts, you want to try to get on there and those types of things. Well, the first thing you do is not going to be, I'm going to go get a tryout for wrestling and then I'm going to show them how good of a wrestler is. First, you got to learn how to wrestle. First, you have to learn how to become a professional wrestler. And then you have to learn the things that make people connect with different wrestlers. Then you have to study. I mean, you don't have to study, but I think it helps for you to study like your history or the history of whatever it is that you're in. If you're in finance, study the history of finance. Maybe not the world history of finance. Maybe you could study the history of China. The history of finance in China would be fascinating. And there's a long history that you can do with that. So there's a bunch of different things. And if you want to become an expert on this thing, it's not saying, oh, I'm going to work on this every single day. It's I'm going to work on this today for 20 minutes. And then tomorrow for 20 minutes. And then the next day I'm going to add it to 30 minutes, but I'm going to do it every single day. And I'm going to build this habit. I'm going to get used to doing this. The first thing that I need to do is get into the habit of actually just doing whatever it is, whatever the habit is that I need to be working on. So that habit, whatever the habit is, we have to create these new habits and replace them with the old habits, because we have old habits. That's like one of the problems. And I've read a lot of books on addiction and psychology, the psychology of addiction, and a lot of those types of things. And personally, a lot of people that I know who have dealt with addiction in the past, one of the things that have helped them stop themselves from being so controlled by the substances that they were craving or the substance that they were addicted to was staying busy, was giving themselves something to do. They have something that they have to look forward to. They have something. And that's, we're not all like, we're not all addicted to some type of a substance. We all don't have these bad things that are going to be slowing us down, even though, we could say that we all need to spruce up our diets. We need to make sure that our diets are a lot better than anything else, because if your diet's not well, you're not well. If you're not well, you don't feel well, and then your overall feelings for your life don't work. So one of the main things that we need to be doing is, sure, we always have to stay on top of it. We always have to try to keep this stuff going along. But what do you do when it gets monotonous? What do you do whenever it gets tiring? What do you do whenever you're like, when you don't feel like doing it? That's the thing. That's the thing. It's always complicated trying to live your normal life and trying to work on these things that you want to make yourself better, or you want to make yourself better working on these things, making these smaller goals, and then inevitably leading them to bigger goals. And they don't have to be like goals. They can just be, you want to practice a new hobby. Oh man, my life is good. Financially, I'm good. Relationships, I'm good. My health is pretty good, but I need to find a new hobby. That could be another thing that's taking you down. And then financially, if you're having financial problems, you need to zero your energy in on that, and you need to focus on, okay, what are these steps that I can do? What are these new habits that I need to create to make myself more likely to reach my goals in the future? That's what I ask myself all the time. That's always the constant pressure that we put on each other, that we put on ourselves. We don't even put it on each other. I don't put as much pressure on anyone else than I do myself. I put way more pressure on myself than anybody else. But that's how my mind works. Like, I'm way harder on myself because I know better. Or at least talking to myself, I know better. So it's one of those things. But we'll go back to the chats real quick so we can keep things rolling, and we can go into this new year on the right mindset, because even if we started with a positive attitude in 2020, it was hard to keep that positive attitude. And even in I don't have my notebook on me right now, but I do have a notebook, and I'll do a stream on that. I have a stream that we can do on that, because and it was another book that I got it from. So I have a notebook that I do, but it was called like the Bullet Journal, I think it was. It was something about journaling. It was a really good book about journaling, and you literally follow it through. So I got my own planner, and then I followed it through. But give me one sec. Let me see. Can I see? It's called the Bullet Journal Method, and that's for that helped me get a lot of reach a lot of my goals. So I'm gonna jump onto the Bullet Journal real quick right after I read the comments. So let me read the comments real quick, and then we'll be rocking and rolling. Joey said, yes, don't put the negativity in the universe. Don't put the negativity in the universe, and don't put the negativity in your brain, because a lot of times people are putting that negativity in the universe, and that's fine. You're going to get that coming back at you later. But whenever you're putting that negativity into your own head and you have negative self-talk, that negative self-talk is going to be slowing you down a lot. You have to make sure that you do not negatively talk to yourself. Whenever you're running or you go for a run, maybe it wasn't like as good of a run as you wanted to have. Maybe you were reading and you were like, okay, I want to read 35 pages in 30 minutes. 25 pages in 30 minutes. That gives me 2 minutes per page. You got to read fast. But you don't reach it, and then you're hard on yourself, and you're saying, man, if somebody else was doing this. Yeah, of course, if somebody else was doing that, if somebody else had those types of habits, or their brain was configured in a certain way, of course they're going to be able to do better. But there's a lot of people who aren't doing better. But those are irrelevant arguments that you don't need to be listened to. You have to listen to yourself, because if you listen to yourself, you're going to know what you need to work on. If you watch somebody else, you're going to be like, oh man, I have to improve on all of these different parts because this person's better than me at every little thing. Or this person's better than me at this one spot, or this one spot, these types of things. Keep it internalized. Stay internalized and stay on top of yourself. If you stay on top of yourself, you're way more likely to reach your goals. And I know I'm a professional wrestler. I'm a big fucking badass guy and all that other type of stuff. But we're all in this together, and we all have different things that we're working on that we're trying to make ourselves better, and we all can relate to that. We all can relate to trying to get better, trying to make ourselves better for the next day. Even if you're, even if you're like Like, I mean, I'm thinking of like every type of job, any type of job. If you're a plumber and you need to make sure that you're plumbing properly, and you're trying to make sure that you're good, and you're being on top of your stuff, and you have a mentor who's teaching you everything that you need to know to get better at it, and you're listening to them and those types of things, and that's just something that's going to help you reach your goals a lot better, a lot faster, a lot easier. But anyway, going back to the chats real quick before I keep rambling. You guys know that I'm rambling, Ron. Joey Roberts said, yes, don't put that in. Yep, exactly. Because the negativity, and that was the point too. Because you are putting it in the universe, but more importantly, because we're all worried about number one, which number one is yourself. More importantly, you can't be putting that negativity into yourself. Don't put it into yourself. Just accept it that what it is. Everything is what it is, but do not be hard on yourself, because if you're hard on yourself, you're going to beat yourself down. And if you beat yourself down, you ain't going to feel like fighting. If you get your ass kicked, you're not going to feel like fighting anymore, you know? Like, don't kick your ass before you even have a chance. You have to build yourself up. And then, if you build yourself up and then you get your ass kicked, then you're like, damn, that motherfucker had their shit together. They were good. They were on their shit. They got me. And I'm on my shit. I didn't waste any time. I didn't do anything. There was no excuses. I just lost. I just got my ass kicked. That's way easier to deal with than not preparing and not being on top of your stuff, you know. And I've learned that a lot, especially with wrestling and those types of things. It's just one of those things. So anyway, we're going to keep rolling. Bernie said, words are power, both positive and negative. And even when typed, not said. Hung by the Tongue. Great little book. Makes you realize the true power of what your thoughts and speech really has. Yes, Bernie, that's pretty much in line with what my point of this stream is, because this stream is about starting the year off right, and your words are way more powerful than you think. I think that whole sticks and stones might break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Sticks and stones will break my bones, but I'll get over the broken bones very quickly. But the words, especially with people who have anxiety, who have social anxiety, who have these types of things that make it harder for them to be able to communicate, or for them to just act normal in regular society. It's high pressure for them to act normal in regular society. That's complicated as shit. That's some tough stuff that we don't necessarily put ourselves into, because you think that people with social anxiety and those types of things like that, of that manner, affect people differently than what type of like normal. I don't know if you would say if it's normal, because social anxiety is definitely normal in itself, you know. It's just one of those things where you cannot be like, oh well, I just got to pull myself up by my bootstraps. And sometimes you can, but sometimes you need a little bit of help too. And sometimes you need a little help from other people in your life. Sometimes you need support. Sometimes you need a doctor. Sometimes you need whatever. I swear, guys, I'm going to read these comments. I promise. I'm going to finish these comments, and we're going to keep it rolling. But, you know, I like to, especially when we're on a good one like this, because you guys know, like, this type of stuff is my favorite. This is what I love. And after I leave here, we're going to go lift weights anyway. So we got weightlifting to do after this, and then I got to try to work a little bit after we get finished working out. We'll do a little bit of the shred shed stuff today. And Ralph is going to join us, even though he might get kicked out of the gym, but that's okay. We'll take a chance. But I just think that whenever we come to the New Year's, don't worry, guys, I'm going to be circling back. We're circling back to the New Year's resolutions. I keep going off track. Yeah. And Ralph's like on the side laughing at me, because he knows he's watching the stream, so he hears. And, you know, Rambling Ron might not be a bad idea for me.
I like that.
I know. Well, that's because there's a wrestler in MCW from kind of my era, but like a little bit earlier than my era. His name was Ramblin' Rich. And Ramblin' Rich, well, yeah, he was a rambler, man. You know, sometimes you are what you are. You like to do what you like to do, you know? Oh, what's up, Shy? Shy has made it into the chats. New Year's, first podcast. That's why we wanted to start this year off right. I figured that the first New Year's podcast, the first podcast that I did of the new year, is going to be about New Year's resolutions, what we can do to make ourselves more likely to accomplish our goals, because we're going to be having this conversation next year. We have 365 days. Maybe it's going to be earlier, maybe it's going to be less, but it's going to be 365 days, and we're going to be having this conversation because I can very easily go back to these videos now and see it. So back to what I was talking about with that bullet journal that I have. Here, let me grab that book real quick. No, I don't want to grab the book yet because I have to do the comments, and then I'll go to the book. Sorry, guys. I keep getting ahead of myself. So Bernie said, hefty, long as it's not in a cinch sack. Trash bag humor, not good. Trash bag humor. I don't know what you're talking about, Bernie. Did I ramble on somewhere to where we were talking about trash bag wrestlers and I missed it? Because trash bag wrestlers are always fun in my book. Barry Jones, what's up, brother? How are you, man? It's good to see you in the chats. I'm glad that you joined us. Joey, I used to travel with Paul Orndorff a lot, and he said he is absolutely marvelous when it comes about this stuff you're talking about, negativity and putting stuff in your head and making sure you're getting to your next goals. Right. And Barry Jones said, be yourself. I think that's one of the more important things. Be yourself. And Shy said, ha ha ha, you just gave yourself a new name, Rambling Ron. I guess I did. Ralph likes it as well. Shy said, you are absolutely right. When you start your day in the morning and spend that morning time on yourself, you feel that you have conquered half of the target, and in itself gives you half of the positive attitude. All right, now that's going to send me on another rant. So I'm going to rant on that, and then I'll get the book, and then I'll talk to you guys about some of the things that have helped me with my New Year's resolutions, because if you go back to my Facebook, you'll see that I don't make New Year's resolutions. Every New Year resolution I would make, until recently, I haven't been participating in that. I would just say like, hey, I create goals all the time, and it's always a ladder that's always adding and subtracting, adding and subtracting. It's always something like that. So we're trying to get ourselves to the point to where we know that we're making that progress towards our goals, because these are long-term goals. Long-term goals are much harder to accomplish because you have to do it every single day, and you get bored. Everybody gets bored at a certain point where they're like, I don't feel like dealing with this. This is old. This is like even the last 2 months, I think it was, I was I haven't been doing my runs, and then this morning I went back on my run, and I've been doing like a run maybe once or twice a week, which is definitely not enough to be getting yourself to the point to where you need to be. But sometimes I lose that motivation, and I'm like, I don't care. It's not that big of a deal, that type of stuff. And Lou Bruno said, Jesus, man, look at that hair. Thanks, man. I grew it myself. I grew it myself. Lisa said, hello, Paul. Bernie, waiting for Ralph to start putting speed bumps in the Ramblin' Ron Stream Shack. Ramblin' Ron Stream Shack. The Stream Shack's going to be one too. And then Joey Roberts, yeah, right. Joey Roberts said, start your day in Jordan. I'm going to be with Wildfire Tommy Rich next week. I'm going to try to hit you up video chat. I know you told me how big the man you are and Tommy. Yeah, 100%, man. If you see Tommy Rich, tell him I said what's up. That's always I mean, I love all the old school wrestlers anyway, so you can't go wrong with that. Lou, Lou, you're being too nice, brother. You're being too nice. He said you should be signed on hair quality alone. I think Jesus Christ himself will be jealous of your hair. I think Jesus Christ is jealous of my hair, and actually I'm going to start putting in for jobs as Jesus at different churches, because I know that I'm going to make all the other Jesuses jealous. I made myself laugh at that one, Lou. Thank you, brother. Thank you. I got to get Lou on here too. Lou's going to be a fun one. Lou's a legitimate 7-foot giant, just like you guys remember Andre the Giant. Just like Andre the Giant, Lou is probably taller than the Andre the Giant. A real giant. How do I guest spot on your show? Oh, DM me, brother. I'm gonna get you in here. I already have a list of guests that I have to do. and we're gonna be doing a lot. There's gonna be a lot more wrestling stuff on my channel. I just needed to learn, and this goes back to last year's New Year's resolutions, or last year's. It wasn't my New Year's resolutions. It was just my goals last year, and now I'm kind of reaffirming those goals because I think that it'll be cool if we all have these things that we can work on together, and we're all okay. Now I'm gonna write these goals down. And did we accomplish them? Did we not? What did we get close to? What did we get not close to? What are we? What's everything? What's everything? Where are we at? Where are we? We need to keep each other accountable. If we can keep each other accountable, we're way more likely to have more success in our lives, which brings more happiness, which brings, makes it a lot easier to sleep at night, that type of stuff. Bernie said, but according to Ed Harris, Jesus Christ can't hit a curveball. And I only know, Bernie, I only know that because I watched Major League. Or I watched all three major. No, I watched the two major leagues. I didn't watch the third one. That one's meh. I don't know. I also watched Into the Wild. If you guys have, I don't know if you guys have ever seen Into the Wild, but I watched that last night. That was a brand new 2020. So I might just do like a regular YouTube video and review that one because I noticed a lot of the differences from the book to the movie. And it's just one of those things. Like the main thing I'll say is the book is way more realistic to real life. The movie is more like heartfelt, sweet, fake. So it's still true to the story, like the overall story, but like there's a lot of stuff that they changed because the book was a little too brutal. The book was a little too, and I think it was like a PG movie, so you can't really have dogs killing dogs, and you can't have dogs killing. You have to change the cast. You have to change like the main thing. Okay, so the main thing that I didn't like about it, and I'll really cover this whenever we actually do a stream about it. But they changed all of the ending. Like at the end, Buck's like the dude who like saved Buck and took care of him. Like he's killed by Native Americans. And then Buck comes in and kills a couple of Native Americans. And then at the end of it, he's like, the dog is a legend because the Native Americans, like there's a legend like built up from him like fucking killing two of them because they killed his guy. So he killed a couple of Native Americans. And the Native Americans were like, oh my God, be careful of the ghost dog. It's a dog that runs with the wolves. And it was like a legend. So like the book built like a legend. The movie was more of like a feel good movie type thing, even though it's not a feel good type of movie because seeing the way that a normal dog's life goes because they are thrown all over the place. Poor dogs. It just makes me feel bad for dogs in general. Anyway, but anyway. Wrestle Jesus. I will wrestle Jesus. I am wrestling Jesus. How about I am the Jesus of wrestling? How about that? Joey said maybe put an application in at Vital LMAO. I don't know. I'm lost. Still waiting for that match. Lou, we need to talk. We need to talk because we're not just going to have a match. I don't do just matches. Not anymore. I'm too old for that shit, brother. But we will talk because a lot of good stuff. What's up, folks? Stephen James has entered the chat. What's up, Stephen? How are you, brother? Good to see you. Vattel Sasson. I don't know what Vattel Sasson is. Stephanie said, hi, everyone. I'm here for 5 minutes on a 15-minute break. Hey, glad that you're here, though. That's always good. Up those numbers as much as you can. Oh, I forgot. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. I was supposed to do that at the beginning, but I forgot. Scott Tracy said, looking good. Stay safe, legend. Oh, thank you. Am I looking good? I really try. I work so hard. I work so hard to try to look good for you guys. I just really do my best to try to make sure that you guys know that I'm looking good. Gregory, Happy New Year, brother. Good to see you, man. Bernie said, ghost dogs, king cats, both legends of an immaculate level. And there's another, yeah, that reminds me. There's another book that I have to read about the White Wolf. And then Shamala said, just helping you here, tracking our podcast. Number one, you were about to show us some book. You were about to continue the positive start. You were about to share your New Year's resolution. And how did you start your New Year? I wasn't about to say that. I was about to share the book but I got off track with all the different comments that we were doing. But we're about to switch back onto that because the topic is staying true to your New Year's resolutions and trying to be on top of it. But yes, the book. Well, the book is, and it is something that helped me 2 years ago, and I've been keeping a lot better track of everything, even though the pandemic kind of messed things up for me, and I think it messed it up for me mentally, not necessarily in most of the ways. I just had to reconfigure the way that I was living my life and I had to change some things because obviously everything changed for everybody. I think that everybody had to reconfigure the way that they were living their lives. But this book has also helped me. Let me grab it real quick and I'll show you guys. So this one's cool. It's called the bullet journal method. And what I like about it is you do not have to buy like a oh, sorry, I was doing it at the computer. Bullet journal method, Ryder Carroll, that type of stuff. So this book was cool because it teaches you a method of tracking your day-to-day progress, your day-to-day goals, your day-to-day events, everything that's going on in your life in a regular spiral notebook. So you take a regular spiral notebook and you create an index. You create a man. What all do you create in this thing? Because I have it in my book, but I want to make sure that I'm not missing too much. So you create a. You have to have your what and your why. You create an index. You create a. Let's see. Practice. Yep. Migrating your mental inventory. You create an inventory. You create an inventory of goals. You have your future log, what you plan on doing in the future, some of your collections, and then you're constantly moving your things to do and your things not to do, or your things that you're accomplished through the book, and then by the end of the year, it should be full and you should be ready to go. So I filled up mine 3/4 of the way this year. Last year I only did half, and last year was my first year doing it. I think I did it like halfway through the year before that. So right now I'm about to start working on my third book, technically my third book. And yeah, you get an index, future log, monthly log, daily log, rapid logging, which is just like stuff that you need to do when you're in a hurry. Collections, which is a bunch. That's like your collections of works. Migration, which is you're migrating different work, different goals into the book and out of the book, and trying to make sure that you're staying on top of your stuff. So rapid log, yeah, there's a bunch of different things, but I'd recommend it because this helped me. So the cool thing about this journal is you take the journal, but you don't have to do it exactly the way that they do it. It's all about catering it to you and your lifestyle and the way that you work and the way that your mind works. I think it's a great book because it's helped me. And even though I don't do every single exact thing in the bullet journal, I think I should probably read it again because I read it like 2 years ago. I think I need to just going back over it right now. I'm like, man, there's a lot of stuff that now that I know how to do most of it, I could add on to these and make myself a little bit better. So if you guys get an opportunity, bullet journal method will help you stay on top of not only your goals, but your regular life in general. Every day-to-day thing you write. You can use it as a regular journal talking about normal personal shit, or you use it as a journal talking about your days. Okay, I have to do this. I got to remember that. I got to do this. I got to remember that. I got to blah, 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 blah. It's going to make it a lot easier for you to be able to accomplish your goals. But it's just so much because trying to stay on top of our goals, trying to stay on top of our New Year's resolutions, whatever it is, our new habits that we're trying to build, everything, it gets monotonous and it gets old. And this helps you see that you're doing a lot better than what you were doing. And that's helped me a lot, and I love it. I feel it's gotten to the point to where I feel weird not having my book. So And Stephanie Positivity said, "I'm going back to the gym on Thursday. Yay me! You damn right. Good. Get back to it. Back to work later, everyone. Oh, we just got 2 people in the chat. Had to go. Bye bye. See you, Barry, and see you, Stephanie. I'm glad that you guys were able to join us a little bit, especially for our first talk of the new year. That's exciting because I think that we got a lot of good stuff that's going to be going on here for this year, and I I think it's important for us to stay on top of ourselves and stay on top of our goals, stay on top of everything that we can to try to make sure that we're reaching our goals and we're accomplishing everything that we want to by the new year. Because if you're not reaching that goal, if you're not getting yourself to that point, what are you doing throughout the day? What are you doing? What are some of the things that we want to do better? What are the things that we want to work on? What are the things that that make it easier for us to get through our day? So a lot of things that I like to do whenever I am on top of my stuff and I am getting up early. One of my New Year's resolutions is to get up early. Get up early. I got up at like 9:30 today, so it wasn't that early. My alarm went off at 6:30 and I felt really good, but I talked myself into going back to sleep for 2 hours. Don't do that, because that's a very, 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 very easy thing to do, because bed feels amazing in the morning. But it does. It sucks at nighttime though, right? It's horrible at nighttime. Like, I don't want to lay down. I don't want to do anything. But then at night, in the morning, fuck, I don't ever want to leave. I never want to leave bed in the morning. It's the worst. But you have to. And here's the thing. Like, I feel you get two good feelings. Your good feeling is sleeping and then waking up at like 10 or whatever the real bad time is whenever you're not supposed to, and then you're missing out on so much that you could be working on. Or get up nice and early and then you can go for your run, you can go read, you can have breakfast, you can do all this stuff, and then you feel good. But it's hard fighting that sleep. Those sleep muscles make you want to stay in bed. I'm telling you, those bed feels. Yeah, exactly. Bernie said those bed feels amazing in the morning. I think he's laughing at the same thing. because it is what it is, Yep, there you go. Lou said I'm up at 4 a.m. every day, homie. I'm one of those, like, I can get up at 4 a.m. and then I'll do phenomenal throughout the day and I do much better. Or I'll sleep in, because I have that in me too, to where I'll enjoy sleeping in, but then I want to stay up. And then it's hard to convince yourself to go to bed at nighttime. But then whenever it's hard to convince yourself to go to bed at night, it's hard to convince yourself to get out of bed in the morning. So there's that balance, and there's a hard balance with that. And then Steven said, "What up, Lou? Just listened to the show while at first day at work, new gig. Oh, congratulations on the new gig, Steve. Hopefully it's a good one, man. Hopefully you'll be making some good cashola for us all, and you can take me to Disney. You're gonna take me to Disney, Steve? Please. Nobody's going to do it. Maybe you will." Shai said, "This bullet journal sounds interesting. I want to know more about it. Is it available on Amazon?" Yes, it is available on Amazon, and I definitely recommend it, because I think that it's helped me reach a lot of new goals that I had, and I have a lot of older goals that I'm still working on, that I've been working on for a while. But it's not always a path where you're going like this and then up, it's up and down and up and down and up and down. That's how you have to envision majority of the paths of your goals, because it's not always like, oh, straight line right there, reached it, perfect, that was amazing. It's very rarely like that. Very rarely is anything like that anyway. Like, it rarely goes the way that you planned. Rehearse, and then come the night of opening night, probably not going to go exactly the way you wanted it to. And a lot of times that's a good thing, because sometimes the way that you envisioned it isn't even as good as it turned out. Sometimes it turns out better. So you have to keep that in mind too, because a lot of times you can't freak out about being too in control, because sometimes being too in control kind of messes things up as well. Oh, hell yeah. Steve said, "You, me, and the Tower of Doom." I totally would. Yeah, I totally would too. I'm down, dude. I'm down. But the Florida one is still open. It's just the California one that's closed. So Florida one, we're still good to go. So, And Shai said, "I feel you. Trust me, the bed really feels amazing in the morning. I wake up at 6:30, and then for the next hour, I fight in the mind to get out of bed." Yeah, that's the problem. Lisa said, "That's me at 4 a.m. And then Steve said, adapt and overcome, a lesson for life. Yeah, 100%, a lesson for life. And that's the thing, though, because like we're talking about, once you start working on these goals, how easy it is to fall off track. But the beautiful thing about it is, once you've been doing the new habits for a long enough period of time, you're going to start seeing the results, and it's going to be easier. It's not going to feel like it's a task. It's not going to feel like, oh, I have to work on this now. No, it's just part of your day. It's part of how you go about your days. It's how you go about your life. You're always constantly working on these things. But the most important part about it is you have to keep it fresh. You have to stay you have to be vigilant. You have to try to be on top of, okay, this is working. This is not working for me. This is working for me. Depending on what your goals are, depending on whatever it is that you're wanting to work on, it's so much better to have an idea of what you want to do and then progressively make your habits to where you're going to get to the point to where you can accomplish those goals. And whether it's like something athletic, lifting weights, you want to get in better shape, you want to do some powerlifting competitions, you want to do some 5Ks. That's a lot easier. A lot more people do the 5Ks for fun. You jump on the 5Ks, do all those types of things. You have to do, if you're going to do a 5K, you don't have to. I know a lot of people, like our aunt, Ralph, our aunt will do a 5K and out of nowhere, and not train for it at all, and then just do it. So there's a lot of people who do it, but you're not going to be able to run that trail as efficiently or do that 5K as efficiently as you would if you were training for it. So if you're going to do something, it's always best to be all in and rock and roll with it and just be like, okay, I'm going to do this. This is what I'm doing. And then do it, or at least try. That's the thing, too. You have to at least try. If you're trying, then you're doing good, too. But the New Year's resolutions sometimes are like overwhelming for people, and sometimes are just like this post right here where the meme that I was talking about, where the lady was saying, where is it again? All of my plans for the future involve me waking up tomorrow with a sudden sense of discipline and adherence to routine. Adherence to routine. That's one of the biggest problems that most people have, is that adherence to routine, because most people's goals, whether it's losing weight, whether it's gaining muscle, but most people are trying to lose some weight. So we'll use that as an example. Most people are trying to lose weight. So if you're trying to lose weight, obviously eating perfectly for one day is not going to be enough. It's not going to be good. We've done too much damage. We have too much work to do. The work's going to have to take a little bit longer. So one of the more important things that we can do is make a plan for it every single day, and make this plan as easy as possible for us to do for now, until we start getting better, until it starts getting easier, because eventually it's going to get easier, because you do it normally. It's what you do every day. If you do it every day, you're going to be too familiar with it. You're going to be familiar enough to be able to be like, okay, I got this. You don't even have to think about it. You want to get to the point where you don't have to think about it. Or when you are thinking about it, you're thinking about how weird it is that I'm not going for my run. How weird it is that I'm not eating something healthy. Oh, man, this is disgusting. I can feel this in my stomach, and I know it's not going to help me with my goals that I'm trying to accomplish. You're going to feel it, though, because if you do spend some time eating healthier, anytime you eat something bad, you feel it. Anytime. Your body is going to tell on you faster than anything. Faster than anything. That's just what it does. And Lisa Nolan said, you sleep better in the AM than you do at night. I think that really depends on the person as well, because if I go to bed early enough, then I sleep good. I sleep really good during the hours that you're technically supposed to be asleep. And during the day, when the sun is out, I don't sleep as well. Even if I have blackout curtains, even if I like trick myself into thinking that it's nighttime, I do not sleep as well as I do whenever I sleep early and I get out and I sleep throughout the night. Sleeping throughout the night is like, I've noticed the best with me. And my Fitbit tells me too, because it tracks your sleep and it tracks the quality of sleep that you have. And I noticed that the quality of my sleep is better whenever I go to bed at least close to 10 p.m. If I'm in bed by 10 p.m., it's going to be good sleep. But if I'm not in bed by 10 p.m., it's not going to be that good of sleep. I'm going to toss and turn. I'm going to have a hard time in the morning. Like this morning, I was in bed before 10 p.m. Probably didn't get to sleep until like 10, 12 probably. But I was in bed a lot earlier. So this morning, I felt great. I just convinced myself that I needed to sleep a little bit more. But I didn't. It's just one of those things. Sometimes you do a good job convincing yourself something that you don't need, but you want. And I just wanted to sleep. I didn't need to sleep. I checked my Fitbit, and I got some good sleep last night. But sometimes you can be your own worst enemy. And that's that balance though, because you don't want to do that negative self-talk that we were talking about earlier in the podcast, because that negative self-talk is going to make you more likely to do the negative habits that you're trying to talk yourself out of doing. Positive self-talk, positive motivation, positive mental attitude. That's the main thing. That's the only thing that's going to keep us going. That's the only thing that can keep you going. If you're in a horrendous shit position, the only thing that's going to keep you going is a positive mental attitude. You're not going to it's not going to get any better if you're just staying like, oh, this sucks, this sucks, this sucks, this sucks. Yeah, of course it sucks. Of course it sucks. We know it sucks. But you have to convince yourself otherwise. That's the hard part. That's the hard part. But as long as the situation isn't as dire as that, and we have like a year to be able to accomplish it, we can slowly and progressively work towards these goals. Here's something. Whenever you're trying to fix your diet, one good meal a day. One good meal a day, and then eat whatever you want. One good meal a day for a week. And then, you see where we're going with this. Week number 2, 2 meals. 2 good meals a day. And then you can still have a good third or a bad third meal. And then 2 weeks later, replace that to where you're eating majority good food. Majority of good food, good quality calories that I can burn in a day. I'm taking in less calories than I burn, so I'm burning this fat, and that's everyone's problem. You're taking in more calories than your body can burn per day. And if your body is not moving and if you are not active, you're not going to be able to burn as many calories anyway. I know this is super basic stuff, but that's where we stay at. We stay on with the super basic stuff because that's the most complicated thing. That's the harder thing for people to follow than anything. All these complicated, crazy training sessions and all that other good stuff, and you still got an obesity epidemic. So I don't think that it's making a more complex thing that's going to... I mean, maybe you can find something that'll make people gravitate to it because they enjoy it, because it's fun. Like, I know Roomba... Was it Roomba? Zumba. Zumba was big for a while because people would like dance and work out. And that's cute. Whatever gets you going, like whatever works for you, it's cute. Like, yeah, go dance. Yeah, man. I mean, even the dudes, like I know a lot of dudes, like wrestler dudes, and like, yeah, man, I like Zumba. And they're like twerking. And I'm like, the fuck, man, not my flavor, but hey, man, you're burning your calories, dude. Have fun. Enjoy. But, whatever. Like, whatever gets you moving and gets your heart rate up is way better than sitting around and not. But it's hard. It's hard. Bernie said, waiting for Ron to count it like the count from Sesame Street. 1 good meal, ah ha ha. 2 good meals, ha ha ha. 3 good meals. That's how you have to do it. That's how you have to do it. You have to be as basic as Sesame Street. Don't complicate this shit. Don't complicate it. Keep it as easy as possible. Be as basic of a bitch as you can be. As basic as possible. Until you get to where you can handle the complex stuff. But most people have great, phenomenal intentions, and they want to do good for themselves. They want to do better for themselves, but then they start having problems. And that's always the problem. That's always the problem, because it's hard whenever you've created the habits of eating bad stuff and being on top of it. Now you want to be on top of it. Now you want to do better. It's going to be harder. You're going to feel that rumbly in your tumbly, and you're going to want to put something in it. That's just a craving, though. That's not real hunger. It's just a craving. You're just craving the sugar. You're just craving, because most food has sugar in it. So we're not playing each other for fools here. Shama said to wake up early and fresh in the morning is to get bed early at night and get proper sleep. We need to listen to our body, which we lack sometimes. Yeah, I never listen to myself. I should be listening to myself way more often. But sometimes we can always yeah, that makes sense. Sometimes we can work on our things that that's another one though, Shy. I think that's a good point, because you do need to listen to your body. And a lot of people don't listen to their bodies as well. Because a lot of people are starving themselves, and they're losing a lot of muscle mass, and we can go to every single extreme in the book that we can, but when it comes down to it, the base thing that we can do is try to stay on top of it. Bernie said you need to go back and take notes on this stream. You might have written 2 to 3 chapters of a new book written by Ramblin' Ron. Probably. By this point, I think that we've covered like 3 or 4 different subjects when it comes to the whole reaching your goals and reaching and just trying to create new habits. And I think I like the idea of creating habits more than reaching goals, because the creating habits is part of reaching the goals. You want to reach the goals, but a lot of times we get too goal oriented and we're not necessarily worried about what's good and healthy for us as people ourselves. So I think that taking a step back and taking your time and trying to make sure that all your other stuff is good, all your other stuff is taken care of, but you have to worry about yourself. You have to take yourself into consideration. If you have like a promotion that you're working towards, what classes do you need to take to get yourself into the position to be able to get that promotion? Or do you need to fix the way that you are working on you need to fix the way that you're working. You need to fix the way that you're communicating with people so that you can be seen as a leader, because now you want to get a promotion, but the next promotion that you have is like a manager somewhere. So you have to show that you're actually a leader of people. So that's another one too. And Shy said, bye-bye, I have to get back to work. Well, it's good to see you. I'm glad that you were able to join us. You guys have a great day ahead. Awesome show, and keep rocking. And don't forget, like, share, subscribe, and click on that bell icon to get notifications. Thank you, Shy. You did that way better than I ever have. I don't think I've ever done it that good. And click on that bell. That's for you guys over there on YouTube. If you guys on YouTube are paying attention, you have to pay attention to that. And Bernie said, creation motivation without minimalization by Ron Hicks. It's got potential. You damn right, brother. It's got potential. And it's like I said on the posts on the streams last week. This helps me too. This helps me stay on top of my track. This helps me stay on top of my goals, and because it's getting me to the point to where I'm like, okay, I got to stay on it. If my stream people are staying on it, I need to stay on it too. So we need to stay on each other about it. And I went for a good run this morning. I didn't do an update on Instagram or Facebook. You guys see all those. I'll do that tomorrow. I'll get back to normal with that stuff tomorrow. I'm glad that you guys were able to join me, join this whole session. I'm glad that we're starting off 2020 right. I think that there were a lot of good ideas in there. I think that there was probably some points that I didn't finish that I'm going to come back to probably at a later stream as we figure out what direction we're going to be going with this type of stuff. But I think that this was a good episode, guys. We keep this right to about an hour. Sometimes we can go longer, but right now, IHTP. So I'm just going to end it right here because I don't want to have to come back and all that other good stuff, and then end it after I awkwardly go take a pee and then come back and that type of stuff. So thank you guys for joining me. Remember, just like Shy said, let me go over here where Shy said, make sure that you don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And do not forget, click on that bell icon to get notifications. But if you're on Facebook, hey, just keep trugging along. And have a great day, guys. Hope you all have a wonderful Monday. Have a wonderful start to your 2020. I'm going to see you guys tomorrow. Peace.